Welcome everybody to another faith-free family moment, and another way to put that is Happy Friday. Don't we all like Fridays? There's something good about them. It's inviting us to typically a day or two off and to enjoy the weekend. And so in my case, when I think of Friday, I always think of Sunday. It's Friday, but Sunday's a coming, Tony Campolo once said, and I think that's true in every life. I always look forward to Sunday. I love to be with the body of believers and worship. It's my highlight of my week, always have been, whether I've been a pastor or not. I just love that. And so we look forward to seeing you Sunday. But today we want to pick up our study in James. Last couple of days we've talked a little bit about the background, kind of why James wrote the letter, and some of those things. And so if you missed those, you can clearly just back up a little bit and catch up, if I may. I want to start with a couple of verses, chapter 1. Let's look at verses 2 through 4. Consider it all joy, my brethren. There again, we're noticed that he's writing to Christians. When you encounter various trials, knowing that the testing of your faith produces endurance, and let endurance have its perfect result, so you may be perfect and complete, lacking nothing. So we'll stop there. There's a lot there. Again, he's writing to Christians, dispersed ones, they're not unfamiliar with trials and testing. They're facing it. They're people in pain. They're people with adversity, bruised, confused, probably lonely. As you can imagine, if you've come to raised in a certain religion like they were, and you became a follower of Jesus Christ, which kind of went against some of the way you were raised, there's lonely. You're separated from family. If you have part of your family waiting for the Messiah and you all of a sudden realize the Messiah came and you're following him, you're going to be at a crossroads. And so there's some loneliness there and some separation, I'm sure, some anguish. And immediately, as James begins his letter, he wants the people to have hope. And he says, listen, what you're going through isn't aimless. There's a purpose behind it. And right off the bat, I mean, think about it. He begins this letter this way, addressing trials. And he talks about the reality of trials. One is they're inevitable. It's not if, it's when the trials are going to come. Job 5:7 says, man is born for trouble as sparks fly upward. In other words, when we're born, there's going to be trouble. John 16:33, Jesus didn't hold back. He said, in this world, you will have trouble. Not might, you will. So don't act surprised. Don't get mad at anybody. We've been forewarned. There's going to be some trials and troubles coming. And so, but James says, you can learn from them, you can grow from them. Don't waste your trials. And so the Bible doesn't shy away from some of these questions. And we're told to consider it all joy. Doesn't mean you consider that the trial's fun. Doesn't mean you're like, oh, I'm so glad that my health is failing. This is super. No, it doesn't. It's consider it all that goes around it, the whole process of what you're going through. It's a joy because of what's happening. God's doing something in it. And it doesn't mean we enjoy what we're going through. I never enjoyed chemo, radiation, the leukemia effects. I don't appreciate that. I don't like that. Spent the morning throwing up this morning. Did I like that? Not even a little. But God can use that. God can work in that. And so you got to trust him to do that. And so we're to consider, it means to evaluate. It's the idea of thinking through, giving an evaluation. My brethren, when you encounter various trials, the word various is a rich word. It means kind of like multicolored, varicolored. Trials come multicolored. They're not all the same. There's a color called physical. A trial comes, it's multicolored. One of the colors, physical trials, your health, bad news from a doctor. A color called emotional. The trial that plagues your mind and your heart, your spirit. Something's wrong. And it could be past event, could be discouragement of a current situation, could be rejection, could be depression. Then there's a color called financial. You've maybe faced a financial trial. There's a color called family. Death of a loved one, family's trials and struggles, misunderstandings. And so trials come in a multitude of colors, shapes, and sizes. What you go through in 2020 might not be what you go through in 2021. I mean, don't we hope what we go through in 2021 is not like what's going on this year? Because right now, as I talk about trials, anybody in the United States of America should be tuning in. Because we're all facing unique times, that's for sure. There's the afflictions of the righteous. Just because we're a Christian doesn't mean that we're immune from these things. And so, as James says, consider, evaluate all joy, my brethren, when you face various trials. I hope you'll tune in tomorrow, or next Monday, I should say, when you and I discuss a little bit more about the reason and how to walk through these trials. Well, let's see what James has to say for us next week. Hope you have an incredible weekend. Hope we see you Sunday. God bless.